we were looking at what is a program, right? So it's a piece of instruction that specifies how to perform a computation. So all these things we already saw: input, output, and process. And if you look at the Python, it has certain words called as keywords. Okay, so keywords are those words which has some meaning for that. Okay, so I will talk about what are variables in a short while. So keywords, just keep in mind that you should not create a variable having the keywords name. Okay, so keyword means it has certain meaning. Okay, so for example, there is a keyword called and. So the and this is a conditional statement. Okay, when you want to check for some conditions. Okay, for example, I'm going to give you a program later on saying find out the greatest of three numbers. Okay, in that case, what you will do, you will have to find out whether one number is greater than the other and also greater than the third number. So it's like a logical operator. Okay, so we will see what are the operators first, and then we will move on to the keywords as well. But just that I'm just showing this to you, so you can see that there are very limited keywords, so it is very easy for you to understand and remember the keywords. Okay, and each keyword has a specific meaning. So what we will do is whenever we want to use the keyword, I will tell you what is the keyword and how to use that in the program. But keywords are, what you have to keep in mind is that keywords are special words in Python which has some specific meaning to it. Okay, so yeah, now already we saw how to install the Python. Okay, now coming to the data types available in Python, right? So you can see that you can have numbers defined in Python, and the numbers can be different types. So the numbers can be integer. So generally, what is an integer? You can have positive numbers as well as negative numbers, and generally integer means it is a whole number with no decimal point, right? You cannot say 4.3 as an integer. Okay, 75 is an integer, minus 23 is an integer. So integers are numbers. It can be positive or negative, but it should be a whole number. Okay, and then there is something called long. Yeah, PDFs and all will be shared. You can get it from your team, right? So inside AML team will provide that. Okay, yeah. So signed integers, that is the first point, and then you have something called long. Okay, because you, for integers there will be some size limitation available. Okay, so if you don't want the size limitation, you can define the number as a long one. Okay, a long means the number should be followed by an uppercase or a lowercase l. Okay, I will tell you when we do the programming. I'll tell you how to define a long integer. Okay, and then there is float. Okay, float is the numbers that will have, yeah, PPTs will be shared, don't worry. Okay, so yeah, floating means as the name says, you have some decimal points to be there. Okay, so as I already told you, 23.5. Okay, that is a float number. Okay, and additionally Python has complex numbers. Okay, so what is complex number? You already know. So when the roots are imaginary, then you get a complex numbers, right? So complex numbers can be directly declared in Python. So if you are doing some Python scripting that has some intensive mathematical operations, you may want to use complex numbers and all. But generally, we will see the usage of integers and floats widely, and very rarely long integers. And similarly, complex numbers are subjective. So for those people who want to use complex numbers, they can very well use the complex number. Okay, now we need to understand what in any programming language. Okay, this is a generic concept for any programming language. So variables are going to be reserved memory location. So which means variable means you know what is a variable, right? So the physical meaning that of variable you already know. Okay. Now, how do you define a variable in Python? That's what we are going to see. For example, if you look at this example here, assigning a contact number and referencing it by a contact name, right? That's a very generic example and widely accepted example. So you have your friend's number with you, right? So for example, your friend is there, uh, some Raj is there. So his number is there with you. So how do you store the number in your phone? You go to contacts, store his number in the number space, and then you assign the name called Raj to this. Okay, so that Raj, the name that you give for this phone number is called as the variable. That is a variable, right? And the phone number of that particular person is going to be the value and that might not change. I mean, generally, right? So people don't change mobile numbers often. So you can think that as a constant. So you can assign a value for a variable name, right? So you have to give some variable name for the value. Okay, so you can see here, this is the example. So someone asked, what is the syntax? Syntax are nothing but the rules to define not just variables for anything. So we are going to see a lot of concepts soon. So syntax is going to be related to how the rules and regulations that you need to follow when you define some things. Okay, so the very first thing that we are going to see is how to define a variable. Okay, so this is an example here. So number equal to 1 2 3 4 5. So 1 2 3 4 5 is the value, and you are giving this name to this. Okay, and the equal to the one that you are seeing here is called as the equal to operator. Okay, so before proceeding further, we will first see what are all the different operators that are available with us, and then we will come back here. Okay, all right. So there are different types of operators, right? So the first operator that you may have to know are your mathematical operator. So this is a very common operator. So mathematical operator, or they are also called as your arithmetic operators, right? So what are those arithmetic operators? You already know. So you have plus, minus, and then your multiplication, and then your division. Okay. So these are the operators which are very generic. So there are some specific operators with respect to Python that we will see later on. Then there is something called as a modulus operator. Okay. So what do you mean by modulus? Anyone?
It gives the remainder.
It gives the remainder.
Perfect. Okay, so it gives you the remainder, right? So this particular operator that you're seeing, division here, right? So for example, I have this number called 5, and then I'm going to divide it by 2. Okay, if you use this slash in Python, it's going to give you, so this is, see, generally what is 5 by 2? It is 2.5, right? So when you use this by as an operator, that is a slash, the Python will give you the number as 2.5. Okay, but if you want to get only the remainder, so the remainder is here is 1, right? So after you perform the division, whatever is the remainder, you want to get that remainder, then you have to use this percentage symbol, right? So if you say 5 mod 2, then the result that you will be getting is 1, which is the remainder of dividing 5 by 2, right? So similarly, if you say 15 mod 3, so what will be the remainder?
0.
Perfect. So 15 divided by 3, the quotient is 5, remainder is 0. So you will get only the 0, right? And if you want to get only the quotient in Python, then you have a specific operator for that, which is a double slash. Okay, so if you say 5 double slash 2, then it is like a integer division, which means you will not get 2.5, you will only get 2. Or in other words, just think that you will get the quotient of this. Okay, so arithmetic operators, these are actually the generic operators that you find in any programming language, and these are two specific operators. Maybe even mod operator is there in different languages, but this double slash is the operator that is available in Python for you. Okay, so this will enable you to get only the quotient after the division. So 15 mod 3 gives you 0, whereas 15 double slash 3 will give you 5. Okay, you get the difference between the different operators now. So these are called arithmetic operators. Okay, any doubts in this? I think it's pretty trivial.
No, sir.
Okay, yeah. So next we are going to see something called as the logical operators. So there are quite a lot of logical operators such as or, and, not. Yeah, sorry.
No, please, sir.
Yeah. So you have the logical operators such as or, and, not, and so on. Okay. So these are again, these are all going to be acting as keywords in Python. So when you want to compare logically, right? For example, let's assume that you have a value called a equal to 5 and b equal to 10. So you want to compare A and D. Okay, when you want to do some comparison, you say A is greater than B, right? And then you want to connect another this one. So okay, so this is your comparison statements, right? And then you have you may say A greater than B or A greater than C. For example, you have C equal to 3. Now you want to compare A and B or A and C. Okay, so this or means either of the condition if it is true. Okay, so you would have done that in your somewhere in your education, right? So you want to compare a few things and you want to check whether they are true or false. Okay, so depending on, so you know that, right? So true or true will be true, and then true or false will also be true, then false or true will be true. So false or false will be false.
False.
So there is one expression on your left, one expression on your right. So you want to use OR operator to compare them or check the condition. So you use this logical connectives like and, or, and so on. So OR operator means either of one condition is true means you will get a true as the final result. If both the conditions are false, only then you get a false. Okay, so that is your OR operator. And similarly, you have AND operator also. So AND means slightly different than OR. So for example, yeah, only if both the conditions are true, you get true. True and true will be true. Okay, so true and false will be false. False and true will be false, and false and false will also be false. Okay, so just remember for now the keywords. So we will use that in programming, and so that you will get to understand when to use or, when to use and so on. Okay, so this is one type of operator. So one is arithmetic operator, and then you have the logical operators, right? And then next is you have equality operators. Okay, so equality operators means you want to, once again, this is similar to the comparison, but you want to check the condition. Okay, so how do you check the condition? Now already what we saw, right? So you have your greater than, less than, and then equal to or not equal to, and then greater than, equal to, less than, equal to. Okay, so these are all the operators where you want to use this as a comparisons. So just I just told you something like this. I have A equal to 5, B equal to 6. So if I say A greater than B, so this will be, in this case, A is 5, B is 6. The condition is false, so I will be getting a false, right? And if I say A less than B, then I will be getting the value as true. Okay, and then A double equal to B, this will be once again false because A is not equal to B. Okay, now there is a difference here, right? So this is called as assignment operator. Okay, so when you use a single equal to symbol, that means you want to assign the values to a variable. So you can just see that here, A equal to 5. So A equal to 5, in this case, the equal to symbol is called as the assignment operator. So the meaning of that is basically, let's say A equal to 5. So the meaning here is that you are assigning the value of 5 to this variable name called as A. Okay, so when you type this in Python, what happens is the value of 5 gets stored in this A, which is a variable, but in the backend, this A occupies some memory in your CPU. Okay. So this occupies certain memory in your CPU, right? So depending on what is the data type. So for integer, it occupies certain memory. For a float, so A equal to 4.5. This is a float, right? Here A is an integer, here A is a float. So float occupies some more certain memory in the CPU. Okay, and then you say A equal to hello. This is a string type. We will see all these things slowly, but now what you need to understand is the equal to operator is called as the assignment operator. This you need to understand the difference between the these two operators. So equal to and double equal to, because generally people get confused. So this is assigning. Okay, this is only an assignment operator. Okay, and this is called equal operator, equal to operator. So if you say a equal to 5, right? So first you have to assign it. So a equal to 5. This is called assignment. Now in this statement, what happens? A will be assigned the value of 5. Whereas in this statement, what happens? This is a condition which is getting checked. So whether A is equal to 5 or not. So this is going to give you either true or false, depending on the value of A. So in this case, A double equal to 5 will give you true. But if I say A equal to 50 and say A double equal to 5, this will give me false because A is 50, it is not equal to 5. Right? No, there is no triple operator. Yeah, we also use double star for exponent. That is fine. Yeah, I'll come back to that. Right. So in arithmetic operator, yes, as someone pointed out, we also have this operator called double star, which means generally if you use a single star, 5 into 4 means it is 20. Okay, because this star is a multiplicative operator. But if you use a double star in Python, then 2 double star 3 will give you 8, which is nothing but 2 to the power of 3. So this double star is nothing but the exponent. So 2 raised to the power of 3, a raised to the power of b. Okay, so this is nothing but a raised to the power of b. So you can note this as well. Right. So we have seen these operators.